Well, today I want to talk to you about how to produce deep work. You may be wondering, what's deep work? I'm sharing this because at some point I realized that I was getting so distracted and I wasn't creating the type of work I knew that I could produce, particularly if you're a knowledge worker, where you really have to think and use your intellect and your knowledge to create. And that got me, researching for how can I become more focused in the kind of work that I do. And that led me to a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. Not sure if you've heard about it, but if you have, I'm going to encourage you to check it out. It's called Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. Talk about a distracted world. How often do you kind of look at Instagram like right now, or how do you look? Often do you go on Facebook or your WhatsApp, or just so many things competing for your attention? And that is the electronic media, then also the non-electronic. And so you find out that you are not actually producing the type of work you know you can do, and you find out that you're busy. It's like, my day has gone. What did I do? I didn't get the things that I wanted to do I didn't do the things that I wanted to get done. And at the end of the day, you say, what happened? And so that's some of the things I would like to share with you. Now, what's deep work, you may ask? Or before then, according to McKinsey report sometime late 2000s, McKinsey is a global consulting firm. They've found out from their research that approximately 60% of an average knowledge worker's time is spent on electronic communication and internet searching. Can you believe that? So only 40% of an average knowledge worker's time is actually spent on doing real work, and 40% of that time is spent on email. So I'll pause and ask you, what percentage of time do you think you spend on electronic media now? 40, 50, 70? Are you above or below? It's worth reflecting and seeing where you stack up compared to the average knowledge worker. Well, deep work is actually professional activities that you're involved in a distraction-free environment that actually pushes your cognitive abilities to the limits. This is where you are really using your brain to really do work, deep work. While shallow, the opposite, obviously, is non-cognitive activities, where you are doing it in a distractive environment. So you're able to do that kind of logistics style, just doing it, but you're not really performing at your optimum level. Now, the effect or the results of deep work is that's really where you produce high quality work, right? And that, unlike shallow work where you know that you are kind of suboptimal. And you find out that very successful people really do produce deep work. I mean, you can imagine the amount of, for example, authors, new inventions, and the kind of work, kind of outputs that they have created. It's because that they're able to spend time working deeply as opposed to shallow work. Now, how do you create deep work, you may ask? You create deep work by actually scheduling or creating blocks of uninterrupted time to work. So it's like 3 to 4 hours of uninterrupted time. You find out that very successful creators, very successful people actually do that. There is no difference. I read about Bill Gates, who actually has his think weeks, where he's able to think deeply and come up with big thoughts. No wonder he's able to think and come up with just out of this world concepts. So it's really about creating blocks of uninterrupted time. This is where you would put off your mobile phone, and not even just putting it off, let it be out of reach for the time that you have scheduled. But it's one thing to actually create that uninterrupted time, but then the discipline. And discipline is where you command yourself to do something. And from that research, Cal Newport's work, Deep Work, he did say that in this new economy, those who thrive in this new economy are those who produce deep work, who are able to spend time and create new things. And they're also able to quickly master very hard things. Now anyone with a click of a button can actually create anything, right? The information is readily available. But it's those who are able to combine the knowledge that they have as well as that time to be able to now come up with something totally new. Those are the people who are going to thrive in this new economy. So what can you do in your schedule? What can you take off to block up? And it doesn't even have to be 5 hours. You can block up 50, 1 hour, 2 hours to do that kind of work. I remember when I started doing that, I would actually set my timer, for blocks of time. I started with an hour, and I'm not my phone timer, a different timer to help me just stay focused on that time. Of course, it was challenging the first time, because what would happen is that I would check the time. Isn't it just being able to sit without trying to reach out for my phone to check something? But then as I continually did that or practiced that, I became more used to spending that time, that even when the time is up, I was like, oh, the time is up. And I find out that, I may even just press a reset to start all over again. So I'm sure that if you try it, it may be challenging for you initially, but as you get into it, you find out it's much easier. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've been able to get something that you'll be able to apply at work and in your business. If you have, tag someone who has complained about being distracted in his or her work or business. I'd also like to connect with you. Send me an email. Let me know what else you would like for me to talk about or share with you. And while you're working towards being extremely successful, endeavor to also live a significant life.